I'm so happy to be back with you guys for season 5 of We Speak the Talk Show. Hello, I'm Rashan Broadnax.
I'm Riley Knoxx. What was funny, Tony?
Mr. Collins, could you pull your shirt down at the bottom because it's appearing to be
That was the joke was over. All right, man.
We have a little situation going on.
The rumors are true, I know. The rumors are
It's
true.
right there. It's
Tuck the
right here.
shirt.
Shayna, pull his left shoulder.
Tuck the shirt.
No, they're looking down there.
Were they really?
Yeah.
They really were.
Oh,
Be in the camera
Ernest.
room, right?
Wait a minute.
You realize she's like, no, it's the collar.
Right, no, baby.
Collins. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hi, I'm Ernest Collins.
I'm Shaina Taylor. We're
You
good?
giving me a count?
5.
Is that it?
5, 4, 3, 2.
Hi, I'm Alvin King, and this is We Speak. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 5 of We Speak. Well, as you can see, the band is back together again. It's been a while since we've all gotten in our little circle, and I've missed all of you. I missed all of you guys, so welcome back. Welcome
We
back.
missed you too.
I miss you too.
And now that we're back from our extended hiatus, we are geared up and ready to speak. It's truly no secret, though, that there's a lot for us to talk about. So let me begin where Season 4 ended, prior to the presidential election in November of 2016, which was approximately 1 year, 122 days, 15 hours, and approximately 30 seconds ago, that Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton to become the president of the United States and stunned all of us. So let's open the show by talking about that moment.
Did he
that-
really beat her?
Well,
Is that what we're calling that?
well, if there's another way to look at it, you tell me.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Cheated her.
Okay, found his way in there
Hoodwood, bamboozled.
some kind of way.
some kind of way, but at the end of the day,
He's there.
You know, oftentimes we say it's a sad day when things like this happen. This is truly a sad day. I mean, this is a man who's defied everything from groping women to racist comments to things being heard, and this man is still the president of the United States.
but the one thing you can say about him and all that foolishness that he is consistent.
That
he was
is,
that
that
before
is,
he
that
went
is.
into office, and he's that now.
So you're saying he's
But we're talking about the highest
consistently
office
foolish?
of the land.
He's consistently a bad person, in my opinion.
I agree.
Okay,
Or
so
Out of touch.
and,
himself.
and so it goes to say what, or goes to ask what the people who voted him into office. You know, why don't we talk about, or can we talk about the people who voted him into office? And I don't mean in a judgmental way, but people actually looked at that and voted him into the office.
But did they really vote him into office? We're talking about
Russiagate.
Russians
Right.
and all.
yeah,
Like
the
Russiagate.
hacking of the of our system, and I fear. I mean, there's no confidence in the system right now. I mean, before it was Chaz and they were throwing those away. Now they found a way to get in electronically and maneuver things. So how do we know for sure if anything is going to ever happen, or if we did actually vote him in or not?
Well, but if someone voted him in the office, and there's a whole bunch of people running around with "Make America Great Again,"
And that's true.
and that's true. And no matter how you look at it, you look at TV and you see all these people. But I'm just all caught up in the double standard of it all, because for this person to be in office right now, for the last president who was in office, I'm sorry, President Obama, had he done one thing that this person had done,
Absolutely.
can you imagine what would have happened to him? You know, or what, you know, Congress or whoever these people are that can get you out and
They
make
would
your
have
life
ripped him to shreds.
right. I mean, so
Yeah.
the double standard is definitely there. So, but it was a sad day for me. I cannot lie, and I remember the day on the metro, going to work the day after, and the energy that was on the metro, from that. White people wouldn't look at black people. I was looking at people, you know, and I just couldn't imagine what was yet to come. But
Well, call me selfish.
Mhm.
I mean, people who know me might say that too. But call me selfish.
I'm not gonna call you selfish.
But what upset me the most is that I've kind of lived my whole life under the guise that I don't want to ever get caught doing that because I might want to run for president one day. So I never took like nudie pics. I never did like a sex tape. I never did any of those things for fear of maybe
It holding you
possibly
back.
And
running
look what
for
you
president.
missed out on.
I could have done it all because apparently you can do all these
Anything.
things
Right.
and be president.
Right.
Well, maybe not as a black woman, I couldn't, but did I say that?
No, that is a
But
very
that's
good
That's
point.
very true.
That's a good point.
That is a very good point, which, is, it speaks to the energy or the climate that we're living in, how, since he's been in office, some of the things that have occurred, which I'm sure we will talk about during the show, but the climate that this administration has brought in right now, it is so negative. I mean, how often can you turn on a television and the news is on and not hear something good? I mean, negative about this person.
Or crazy.
Or crazy.
Just crazy.
Yeah. And so it's still happening, and it's been happening.
But let me just say this. I look at it as this is an opportunity for us to take in what has happened
Okay.
and get ourselves together.
Right.
Because just after the election, so many people who said, oh, I didn't vote. I couldn't decide between the two of them. I didn't want to vote. I just didn't vote. I didn't get up. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. This is an opportunity for us to take all that in and say, this is how important your vote is.
I agree.
Because these are the things that happen when you decide, I can't make a decision, or I don't want to make a decision, or I don't want to get up, I don't want to vote. And it
Right.
shows how important our votes are.
Well, and to that, Rashan, I have the issue with the people, those undecided voters. No, you decided. You decided not to vote.
Not to vote, right?
You decided,
Right.
So whoever came up with
Right.
that whole concept of undecided voter, I don't buy that at all.
But my thing is, even those that didn't vote, I don't have the confidence that I did before. When I go and I push the button, I now don't know if my vote is really going to
And
count,
this is
where it's
right,
going to go.
right.
These are things that we really have to focus on. I mean, because, and I tell people all the time, the real voters are local officials. I tell people all the time, vote for your local, because we can't call the president. We've never been able to. But we can call our local officials, and they're the ones who speak our voices for us. So those are the ones that we need to get out and vote for. But my whole confidence in this system is really shot right now. I mean, I would have put everything down that this man would never make president.
Right.
And I would be lost right now, completely.
Right.
We
Well-
saw Scandal. So we remember what happened in Defiance.
Exactly.
We remember what happened in Defiance. So, and I believe that was true. Like, it has happened. It will
Absolutely.
continue to happen. This isn't the first time. I think this is just the first time that it happened, and we are so
And now- right.
shocked.
Yeah.
We are so
Well, everybody's
shocked.
shocked. The
We're so
politicians are
shocked.
shocked. They just don't, nobody
I think
knows
he was
what
shocked.
to do. Right,
I
right,
think he
right.
did
I
not think he was
too.
going to win, and like
Absolutely.
everyone, apparently they said Melania was crying that night because she didn't think he was going to win either. That's so sad. Like, you didn't even want, like, you screwed it up for everyone else because you didn't even want this,
He did.
nor did you think you could get it,
Right.
and now you have it, and look what you're doing with
This is a
it.
man who just likes to win. This is a game to him.
Well, see, that's why I think he wanted to win, and I think he thought that he was going to win only because he is that person that does not like to lose. So he had to have it in his mind, I'm going to win this. Now, whether he thought or whether he really wanted that seat and he really wanted the obligations that go along with that, I don't think he wanted that.
Right.
And I don't think that Melania thought he would get it, and I think she just kind of humored him as his wife and was like, oh, yeah, go ahead, be
That's
president.
the biggest come up of life.
I'm thinking he put all the right pieces in place to win.
Absolutely.
So I think he
Absolutely.
made the right
Absolutely.
calls. He got together with the Russians. He knew what the outcome was going to be. You're right. I don't think he wanted the responsibilities, but I think the benefits that come along with
Yes.
it. So I've just said I want to know what his end game is because he's investing in something, whether it's people, whatever it is, he's investing in something. Whereas him being you all's president, he can make those decisions to make sure that that money is going to be made
Right.
when he's out of office. So whoever he's giving contracts to, whatever, there's some in play that he's setting up now. And it could simply just be putting people in offices.
They don't
He's
wanna stay.
he's appointing judges. Like
True.
he's putting people in, he's doing something. He's working up to something that's going to end up making him a lot of money.
Now let me ask you this: since you bring up him putting people in office, if he happens to be impeached, is it a possibility of those people being removed?
Well, God, hopefully so.
Yeah.
I mean,
But then guess who your president will
I
be?
wish.
Well,
Which, exactly.
well, right
which
now-
is not really a good thing.
I used to think
Right.
that was
I agree
scary,
with
but right now, I think our country, in a whole, is not only we're embarrassed by this guy that we have that's running this country, we're losing a lot. We have a lot to lose. I mean, we're talking about North Korea. We're talking about, I mean, this man is really setting a fire that's going to be hard to put out. I mean, and I don't like Pence at all. But I'd rather somebody who at least knows how to at least control. Right now, we're so far out of control and out of touch with everybody, and it's only going in the negative. It's not getting any better at all.
And all these other countries must look at us and just laugh at us like
They feel
this is
sorry for
crazy.
us.
Yeah.
That's what they said. They feel sorry for
They
us.
feel sorry for us.
Well,
Like every
forgive
country I've
me,
been
but
to
I want them
traveling,
all
they
out.
do it.
I want them all to
Everybody?
go. I want all of them to go.
Oh, okay.
I want a
want 'em out.
whole new administration. You know, it's like you know buying a new shirt. For those of us who keep our closets in a certain order, you buy a new shirt and you put it in there with the old shirts, and you turn around and go, I want all those old shirts out of there.
So it's like a panty purge.
It's like a
Right,
panty
yeah.
I thought I
purge.
do a panty purge.
It's like a
That's
panty
a good way
purge.
to
Do
look at
guys
it.
do a draw purge?
Sometimes,
I do like a
yeah,
panty.
yeah.
Okay, I do a
Okay,
panty
no one
purge.
talked
Like
about
every
that.
year, I throw everything
Everything
out. And
out.
so you want a panty
It's been
purge?
1 year, 122 days,
Administration.
and it's time for all of y'all to go. So if you all, we're going to move to the next topic because we can beat that person
Right.
down to the,
And he'll still
to
be
the
president.
ground, and he'll still be
Absolutely.
in that office
Right.
doing what he's doing. So
A
but
political panty purge.
The triple P.
Political-
PQ.
Right.
We're going to PQ.
once again, ladies and gentlemen, hashtag political panty purge.
I like it.
From Shaina, yours truly. So, I know all of you have been chopping at the bit since we've been off, and now I'm going to open up the floor to some I Speaks because I know there's a lot that a lot has happened, and so I want to open the floor to I Speak, and so if nobody wants to jump in there, I can definitely throw something out there, but I know y'all got it.
Who wants to talk about Bill Cosby and R. Kelly?
Well, I think that's good. Well, you know, before we went off on season 2, 3, and 4, Bill Cosby was
Right.
the center
Talking
of
to him.
those topics.
That's
And
why I
so
read that, yeah.
so he was like, Shaina thought it was. What do you say? The what was it?
What, it was
Illuminati?
Illuminati.
It was Illuminati.
Right.
Illuminati. It's like the cuckoo, the Ku Klux Klan. It'd be them too.
It was the Illuminati. But here's my opinion on Bill Cosby, and everybody, you all can. I believe that Bill Cosby did what he did.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that he did it. My
did, too.
problem is, my problem.
Camille believes it too.
But my problem is, in the court of law, I found little proof, based on the evidence that was being shown. I found little proof. Now, I'm not a judge.
Well, what proof would it have been at this point in time?
Well, can you give me some 30-year-old
Clearly, they have something.
something?
So,
Clearly they
so
have
the proof
something.
that they had was his confession.
Right.
His confession that was supposed to have been, well, he thought it was sealed forever, and apparently it wasn't. It was only sealed for a certain amount of time. So that's the proof that they had. Like, he admitted to it. He admitted that he had done it. He paid these people off, and those records were sealed. And typically, they don't get unsealed. But in his case, the Illuminati unsealed.
Unsealed them?
So wait, is there like a length of time that they're sealed for?
Yes.
And what's that time? Do we know?
I don't remember what it was.
Oh.
It's like a decade or two. It's like a long period of time,
Right.
and it goes
Because
most
no
of-
one ever is going to normally revisit it. Because if you get away with it the first time, you think you stop. Okay, I got away with it. I better not try it again. But maybe that's just ego because he's like,
Well,
did it over and over
Please
again.
forgive me. What was sealed? It was a confession that he made?
So it was the court documents from where he had paid off a settlement, where
Okay.
he had admitted to having done it.
Right.
Okay.
So that was sealed for a period of time. So it's like more than a decade because this was old. So it's sealed. So typically people don't unseal that, or people don't research and go back into it. But in
Right.
this particular case, someone said, oh, that time is up. It's unsealed. Let's look at it. And then they went ahead and used that to bring forth new charges to show a pattern.
Well, I'm just one guy with an opinion, but I just don't think that, again, I don't think there was enough evidence to prove it. And some of the women that were coming up, you know, out of the woodwork saying that he did this, particularly Janice Dickerson, which I know
You
for
hate
a
you,
fact.
Janice.
I know for a fact, okay? I mean, I'm going to show my age here. I've been behind the scenes with her. So I'm not saying that I saw her doing things that were inappropriate, but let's just say I saw her doing things.
Well,
And
it had
so,
already
you
come
know,
out that she said, well, not that she said, but it had already been revealed that the majority of her story was not correct.
Yes, right, but
know,
they
it was
used her
not.
in court. She was part of the evidence.
They used her initially, but then remember, so this last, where the final court case, they had one person that they allowed to testify, and then that's when I think they threw the trial out, and then when they came back, they requested to have additional persons testify, and they said that's where they believe the difference was made, because of course just listening to a single story, it's like, oh, okay, so this is your story, but there's nothing else. But the court wasn't allowing anyone else to testify. So once they did, and they said, okay, these stories sound pretty similar, you know, and with the previous evidence, they were like, yeah, here's the book.
Yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire. It is a lot of smoke going on in this area, so.
I don't have a problem with him being charged or anything, but my thing is, if you get an honorary degree or all these, why do you take all this stuff back? Why do you take, what purpose is it of taking it back? Because it doesn't change the fact that you gave it to him anyway when he was doing these things. Why take that stuff back? I mean, he's going to jail already.
Are you giving him his money back?
And they were trying to take all this stuff before he was even convicted.
Yeah.
Before he was even convicted, they tried to take everything.
Think about of all the properties that took Trump's name off of their buildings when he started, like, really started acting crazy. They were like, this is not a good look, you know, take your name off
But
our
that's
stuff.
action now.
So it's like separating yourself, you know, from the wrongdoing.
But they were doing that to Bill Cosby before he even.
Yeah,
before
and
he
that's
took
my
his
other
own
problem with it.
I mean,
Because
you know,
you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty in this country, but lately it's been the other way around.
All it takes someone to say it.
Someone accuses you, and then it's like they take everything away
But think about
before
this.
you're ever convicted.
I'm sorry, but think about this. Even when you're in court and you get a case brought against you, the burden of proof is on you. So even though we say, you know, you're innocent until proven guilty, it in essence is not true, because you always have to prove yourself innocent.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely.
somebody else isn't going to do that.
Right.
No, that's not so true. It depends. Let's talk about our
That's
skin
not how it's
color, because
supposed
it doesn't
to work.
with
Yeah.
everybody.
Okay, correct. True,
Some
but-
people are innocent until proven guilty. I've seen it before, you know, but not in all cases. In different skin colors, we are guilty until
Proven innocent.
absolutely.
Well, that's who the quote was made for.
I was thinking about us,
We
but,
are
you know.
innocent until proven guilty. You are guilty and
another-
prove yourself to be
Right,
not.
right.
Well, and Riley brings up R. Kelly, who has been the topic of controversy
For years.
For years, and he's paid people off. He's paid them to be silent, but he has never been convicted of any of these crimes. But of late, his new charge is he's holding female slaves.
But the girls are coming on social media saying, I'm
not-
here willingly.
yeah.
I'm
Right.
not a slave.
Right.
I love him. I'm of age now, and I'm good.
But the ones who were saying that I was a slave, but I was set free,
Yes.
are creating the controversy right now. So I'm wondering. Well, first of all, R. Kelly must have a tremendous legal team.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Because whatever they've been doing for all these years
Right.
since Aaliyah, they have been working overtime because he's still winning Grammys.
Right.
He's still winning, Billboard awards, I think.
'Cause you guys
He's
are still
pro-
buying his album.
We're still buying his
Not me.
album.
You're right.
You
Not
guys
that
are
we-
still
no,
buying
no,
it because I
Kelly.
like
Not that
his music.
But it's not just R. Kelly, because he's written for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Right.
He wrote for your favorite, Whitney Houston, and Celine Dion, and
So it's in
everybody.
your pocket one way or the other.
So
Yeah.
we paying a pedophile?
But
But you know, their new thing is mute R. Kelly.
but
so
he's
He
yeah.
has a lot of revenue streams. So even if we don't
Right.
buy his
Yeah.
albums, we're going to buy other artists' albums.
Right.
and
Yeah.
still produce
it's
them.
true.
That's
But
true,
they're
right? I didn't
saying
think
they
about
want to
that.
mute R. Kelly, but he
makes good
said,
music.
they should have done that 30 years ago because the mute's already ingrained into the system
Right.
and all that stuff, and it's kind of kind of true.
Well, what we're going to do, I'm glad Riley brought up R. Kelly, because there is more that we want to talk about, particularly that piece about silencing his music that I want to get
You'd
into.
have to do it for everyone.
But right now we're about to go into a commercial break because, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are back and we are on fire, and we just got so much to talk about. But I don't want to get into that topic because it's going to take longer than this time that we have allotted. So stick with us, ladies and gentlemen. We will be.
That's it, bruh.
Straight out. Straight out.
Put your legs straight out and cross them out.
Oh, come on, bruh. Sit down. Stand up. Legs crossed. Legs straight. Hands up. Hands out. Shake it all about. On your knees. On your front. On your back. Lay still. Stand up. Lay crossed. Hands. Stop resisting. It may seem like the lyrics to the Hokey Pokey. But this is a list of commands you can often find issued by American police officers in their attempts to de-escalate a situation. In this example, the subject is a man sitting on a curb, calm, complying, doing his very best to somehow interpret a barrage of instructions coming from two officers who seem to be about on the same page as me and Dana Loesch. One officer orders him to extend his legs, another orders him to cross his legs. When he tries to comply with both, they pump him full of electricity. Now keep in mind this happened in Pennsylvania, the same state where 17-year-old Antoine Rose was just shot in the back and killed by Officer Michael Rosefeld, who, by the way, if you were just wondering, is patiently awaiting trial in the comfort of his own home after the judge granted him unsecured bail, meaning he had to pay nothing. Meanwhile, Meek Mill was denied bond for popping a wheelie. The judge literally had to break the law to offer Rosefeld bail, seeing as how the Pennsylvania Constitution states that in cases with possible life sentence, bail shouldn't be offered. But that's for another day. The point is, while some would like to blame police misconduct on a few bad apples or individual cases, this past week alone has proven that these examples are not isolated. They are happening at alarming rates across the country. Pennsylvania shows how frequently these incidents are occurring, yet most conservatives would rather debate just how compliant this man was, rather than face the blatant and obvious reality that sweeping comprehensive police reform is needed. Just think about it for a second. If this is what happens when someone is fully compliant, and this is what happens when someone flees from those who could potentially brutalize you for complying, where does that leave us? I'll tell you where. Right here. The same place where every American should be, protesting this injustice. Because as I have said till I'm blue in the face, this is why we kneel. Not to protest a song or a piece of cloth, the military, or even the man in the Oval Office. It's to say, hey, this isn't okay, people. So if you felt compelled to criticize the way Cap and other NFL players protested, then you better speak up on this, because this is just another example of why they knelt, and I am frankly sick to my back teeth of reporting on police abuse, so I can't even begin to imagine how sick those are who are subject to it on a goddamn daily basis. Really, come on, whether you claim to bleed blue or not, how can you watch this video and be so willfully ignorant to think it's alright, or say it's just procedure? All while white mass shooters are almost never apprehended with this level of violence, even after committing unimaginable atrocities. Enough with this shite already. Where is the civility here?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Before we went to a commercial break, we were...
I'm sorry, do that again. We need to turn on the recorder.
I was so in my Beyonce moment. Okay. No pun intended. The music streaming service Spotify has removed all songs by multi-award-winning soul and R&B singer R. Kelly, based on the recent and repeated sexual misconduct allegations leveled against him. Mind you, Kelly has never been convicted of any crimes. So the question is, shouldn't Spotify treat other artists labeled with mistreatment allegations the same way R. Kelly is being treated? I.e. Michael Jackson, Chris Brown, Pete Townsend, Jerry Lee Lewis.
If they did, we wouldn't have anything to listen to.
Well, I think that's...
Rock and roll, rap, R&B, whatever. We wouldn't have anything to listen to. What would you be stuck with?
Well, I think that is
Gospel.
when. Well,
Nope, not even then.
Not even then. Not even gospel. Not even gospel.
You're
Come on
right.
now.
You're right.
Not
You're right.
not even
Not even gospel.
Oh, not even gospel.
That'd be
Yep,
the 1st
you're right.
genre to go.
However, that kind of knowledge, if you will, sets up R. Kelly's legal team. You know, I mean, and because if Spotify is willing to go through this, because there are hashtags out where other, what do you call it, celebrity figures are saying mute R. Kelly. You know, they're jumping on the bandwagon saying mute R. Kelly. Some of the most well-known and prominent figures are doing that. So if Spotify, if I was Spotify, I wouldn't take that on. That's just me. Because unless they're ready to shut down Spotify.
So you have the right when you run a business to do what you see fit. So it kind of reminds me when Chick-fil-A first came out and they said we're not going to be open on Sundays. They didn't think about upsetting people or think about how much money they would lose, how much money they wouldn't make. It was just that they just thought that it was blasphemous. They were like, it's pagan for us to open up on Sunday. And they just made the choice to not do it. So as Spotify says that this is what we stand behind. We will not air this music, and whatever the backlash is, whatever happens, happens. Like you draw your line in the sand, and you got to stand by it.
Yeah, but you know, I think about, okay, so like the Cosby Show is not on anymore.
That's
or, you know, think about what Kevin Spacey did, and then what was the show he's on?
He was on
That Netflix show?
The
Yeah.
Netflix show.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
They wrote him off.
You think about exactly, which was great because you got to think about everybody else who is making money off of this. It's not just that one person. You've got cameramen, you've got producers, you've got other actors that are making money from this. It's not just that person. So when you do that to that one person, you're also doing it to a ton of other people.
Musicians, in R. Kelly's case, musicians.
Yeah, that wrote on the
people
song
who
or
wrote
that
the songs,
produced.
you know.
or,
So and although Spotify is one outlet, music outlet, there are other outlets that he can be on, but Spotify's stock is doing pretty good.
Well, I remember that's
So-
one of the things that they had said originally when they pulled the Cosby Show with Bill Cosby, is that all of those Cosby kids, like, people had set their lives up based on the royalties. Like, they knew how much royalty. They didn't plan on having to go back to work. They set their futures up based on that residual income that they figured would never change. So we're going to probably start seeing them on crappy straight-to-video movies. Rudy may be in porn. Like, who knows what happens now? Because they weren't expecting this. They weren't, I mean,
But I think, and I'm not mistaken, I'm going to ask the producers to check this out. I think the Cosby Show is on. They are running episodes of it.
They started back running it.
They started back running it before he was convicted.
Exactly.
Now, I haven't seen it since he's been
It's gonna be
convicted,
gone.
but you know, that's something that we can check out. But
I think I've seen it. I think it's
Well, they
on, like,
started back airing it,
They
but
did.
I'm pretty certain, I think because people were complaining saying that he had not been convicted.
Right.
And they pulled it. So
Right.
now that he's convicted, are they going to run it until because I'm sure there's going to be another trial because he's going to appeal it. So I'm not sure what's going to happen in the middle. But the crazy part is his character is not, Cliff Huxtable was somebody that a lot of people looked up
America's
to.
dad.
And he's America's dad. He still is.
Right.
Like, Cliff
He still is,
Huxtable
right.
should remain America's dad.
a
Bill
positive
Cosby is
thing.
just
Not
something
right. Very
different.
good, very good.
So maybe they should change it to the Huxtables and keep running it so that it's not the Cosby Show and it's not about him, because it's a great show and a lot of people get a chance to learn a lot from everything that family went through.
I was going to say it was an educational and
It
motivating
was.
show. So
Yeah.
And it was very
you really
positive
shouldn't
for
take
black
it off.
families,
You know,
yeah.
and like you said, we're talking about actors. These are the Huxtables. It is not actually Bill Cosby, because Mr. Huxtable would have never done the things that Bill
Right.
Cosby
Right.
did.
Correct.
So yeah, I agree.
Well, at
I
least
agree.
not on TV. so we're going to move right along. I'm sure all of you are familiar with the recent rash of incidents of the police being called by white people on African Americans seemingly doing nothing. I think her name is pronounced Lalede Sinyambola, an African American student at Yale University sleeping in a public area of her dorm. A black woman asking for plastic silverware at a Waffle House. A group of black filmmakers moving out of an Airbnb after a shoot. Black people moving into their own apartment. A black family touring a college campus. A Stanford University professor, Dr. Jennifer Shuttle, called the police about a black family having a picnic in a public park in Chicago. A group of black women allegedly golfing too slowly had the police called on them. Black people shopping for prom clothes. 2 young black men working out at a gym. Buying Mentos mints at a gas station. Black people had the police called on them. Listening to music on their front porch. All were either arrested after being detained by police, and of course, the highly publicized case with Rashan Nelson and Dante Robinson, 2 unarmed black men in a Philadelphia Starbucks who were arrested for sitting and waiting for their Caucasian businessman or business associate to come in. What in the heck is going on?
That's only the ones we know about.
That's
Yeah,
only
right.
the ones that we
And
know
there's
about.
more.
Right.
It's so funny because just listening to it, it sounded like a monologue. Like it is that there
That's
are that
real.
many cases. It happens that often, and the worst part is without social media, people having so many cell phones and taking videos, we would not know this stuff. Like this stuff is happening every day.
If there was social media and cell phones back during the civil rights movement, all that stuff, did you
There'd be no
imagine?
shock value. We would
Nothing.
be immune to it.
Yeah.
Well, the reality is what I'm seeing is that even with cell phone footage, it's not making
it's
a
not gonna
difference.
stop.
It's not
It's not gonna
making.
stop.
You know, you're literally. I go back to I know this is a different story, but the young man who was killed in his one of the young men that was killed in his car while his girlfriend was in there filming it, and the police gets off. You know, so
Frustrating.
even with filming these type of incidents, you know, I just don't see it ending. But getting back to white people calling the police on black people and how this is all escalating, I go back to the climate that we're living in. You know, white people are feeling because of this administration. I think that you can say these things. You can do. You can be bold. You can call the person the N word if you want to, if you don't catch their eye when you're about to do it.
Okay.
So that
You know
was
what
the
I'm saying?
whole thing of making America great again. So the last 8 years,
Right.
they have been feeling away. So they think that we feel entitled. Oh, you for 8 years you were able to do all this stuff. We're taking it back. That's the whole thing about making America great again.
Right.
They don't want us as comfortable as they feel that we have gotten over the last 8 years.
Right.
They feel like you guys got away with so much. Picnics, cookouts in the
Okay.
middle of, yeah, we don't
Cookouts
want that
in the
anymore.
park.
America is great now. Let me
Right.
put this cap on. Let me call the police. And the worst part is the police came out.
Right.
The fact that they
To the foolishness.
yeah, they can't. It's
Because
like
they
no,
agree
tell
as
somebody
well.
we got other things
Right.
to do. It's
Call
a public
park
place.
police.
Don't call nobody. Go home. Close your it's crazy. They think that we have a sense of entitlement and they're trying to shut it down.
Well, I want to go on record because I know I said white people. I have a lot of friends who are white people. I'm not a racist or anything of the such. So I'm not saying that. I know it's not all white people who do it, but it just so happens to be that white people are doing it. So we are talking about it. But I just want to make sure that I'm not feeling or want to come across as
Right.
somebody who's against all white people and think that only white people are. Everybody's doing it. That's not.
See, I want to say the same thing about the Make America Great Again thing. This is what they thrive off, And what they're basically doing is breaking our morale down, or trying to break our morale down and make it seem like these are the normal things. And unfortunately, this is happening so much that it is becoming to be a part of our regular normal, And once again, it's got to stop. This administration is really, here we go again. We can't actually put us back into slavery, per se. But we can break our morale down and try to put us in our place. And that's what I think is actually going on right now. You have a president that endorses it. You have law enforcement that's been waiting for this opportunity, and now it's happening, and we have to figure out what we're going to do next.
Well, speaking of slavery, we're going to go into the entertainment world, and where
Where all entertainers are slaves?
No, where Kanye West. Speaking
Oh,
of slaves.
Lord.
Well, first of all, I need to give a glow because today,
A glow?
this day while we're taping is the 4th wedding anniversary of Kanye and Kim Kardashian.
That is true.
So today is their wedding. Now,
4th wedding.
okay, the other part to that is
We got that out the way.
we got to get that out. So that was the glow. Now the grow is Kanye West making a statement that that slave that it was a choice,
Optional.
that they had a choice in being a slave, and he thought that that was the right thing to say. But he got called out on it when he didn't think he was going to get called out. And that was the best part of this whole story for me.
So he says a lot of things
He does.
that don't make sense. So this just was added to the list of crazy foolishness for me.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a dumb butt.
Well, how convenient it's right in the middle of his album release time. I mean, you have to think
Well,
about all
and-
these things. But
exactly.
what a dumb
Shock
stuff. I used to be a big Kanye fan, huge Kanye fan. Listen to nothing. It comes on the radio now. I actually turn it. And it's unfortunate that I feel this way, but when you're on a platform and you're on that level where he is, people actually listen to you. You know, I'm shocked I got caught in it. But to say something that ignorant, it kind of makes you rethink things. It's definitely for me made me rethink things. I mean, does this guy really feel that way, or is he just saying these things?
But even if you're just saying it, you have a responsibility, and because you have that platform, because there are people that look up to you, and they're kids and people that are not black that might listen to that and think, like, well, you know what? Then maybe
Kanye
that's
said
that. Yeah, Kanye said it. It's maybe there's other black people that think that way. You have a responsibility to not say stupid things like that, just for shock value, even if you don't, whether you believe them or not.
There's way more stupid stuff to be said. Let's be clear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
There are so many people saying stupid things.
True stupid stuff.
True,
Yeah.
or not, but just maybe not as harmful or as hurtful or as idiotic. Like there's a list. I think on the next show I'll come with a list of idiotic, stupid things that Kanye you can say, and I'm not even going to charge you to use them. Like I'm gonna have a whole list of stupid, idiotic things. I'll put some hand gestures, some facial expressions. I'm gonna help you out because that's stupid.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Just stupid.
Well, I think with him saying that, my question to you is, where do you think, all together now, well, where do you think Kanye's future lies right now? I mean, just in the midst of that, off the top of your head, do you think that his new album is going to sell well? First of all, his clothing line isn't, but that wasn't selling well before. But
almost wore my Yeezys
in terms of
today,
his
too.
music
I
career, do
swear
you
it
think
did.
it's over? You think it's over because of this?
I
we
don't think
we are
so.
a forgiving race. For some way, for whatever reason, we can get angry now and swear one thing, but in some point in time, grandma's going to come in our ear from way back in the day, and forgiveness is going to come, and we're going to forgive. That's just what we do for whatever reason.
But he can fix this.
Oh, absolutely.
He can fix this because what I really think has happened, he could actually come out and say what I really think is happening is like he was off his medication.
It's crazy, yeah.
And all, you know what I mean? And we'll be like, oh, you know what?
Right.
That's okay. And I apologize. I said some crazy stuff and all this stuff. And you know what? We'll forgive him. But you've got to say something. We're not just going to forgive you just because time went by.
But he's
Well,
with
see-
a family that's media surrounded
PR,
consistently. They all thrive off things like that. Now he's in the mix of that. You're siding with the president. You have this idiot saying your name. That puts you in a totally different
He
category.
gave me
in
black
my
bread.
mind. It just now when this guy endorses you, come on.
Well, here, I think what's going to happen to him, first of all, he is messing with the Kardashian brand.
Yeah.
He is married to a Kardashian, and he's married to a Kardashian. He is messing with their brand. He is still black, whether he believes it or not. And I don't know if that's ever been a question with him, but the way he's coming off is, to me, it's like he's putting black people down. You know, he's saying things that about our history, about his history, about our culture that doesn't make sense. And if you think that the Kardashians are going to let him, on medication or not, continue to go on this rant, tarnishing their name,
Chris was on top of that, like, shut up.
that's who's going to pull the carpet from under Kanye West.
I'd like to see
The
that.
people who are around him, not us who are buying his music.
Yeah.
It is his brand, because your brand is everything.
Right.
And the
brand is-
Kardashians don't believe in that foolishness too.
No.
Most importantly, we know how much they love black people.
Right.
It's true.
I mean, black men. But so
Come
so
on
it's not
now.
even, it's not,
Come on
Tread
now.
lightly
Come
over there.
on now.
You know how much they love.
Come on now.
New
That's
season, but
saying,
ain't
I'm
nothing
just
changed
saying.
over here. We still,
Truth is the light.
They're still my
okay?
people.
Truth is the light. But I think
Facts
you know,
are facts.
he has his even if he does come out and say, you know, try to apologize as he's tried before and blame it on medication, he can go into rehab. I'm sure they got a hospital for liars, right? You think they do?
No, because
no.
I think if so, there would be a lot of money to be made.
a lot of people in there.
A lot of money to be
But
made.
but yeah, I just I know we kind of shifted. I know I went off script, ladies and gentlemen, but I mean producers, but I wanted to talk about the whole slavery piece with Kanye West.
Let's
And
pray
did you
for
see all the
Kanye.
memes that came along? If slavery was a choice, like all the little things that on social media.
What we would choose.
Yeah, it's kind of entertaining.
Hilarious.
It's funny.
12 years, because it spun. I saw whether it spun off of 12 Years a Slave,
Right.
and it was just like voluntary. Okay.
Well, I think the best memes was that the woman, that woman who called the police on
Yes.
the on
Oh,
the
on
people
the phone?
on the phone, and I mean her
Absolutely.
memes are
Backs up
popping up.
everything.
Her memes are everywhere. I mean,
She's calling out everybody. Those
They
are
even
hilarious.
parodied her on Saturday Night Live this past weekend.
Did they?
They just had her show up in the middle of anything.
I hope we can
with
pop, I hope we can
cell
pop
phone.
some up on the screen
Look just
while
like
this
her.
is airing. Let's just
80
pop
did
some
it.
up on the screen, like right there.
Yep.
but she's the kind of
Hilarious.
person that I think, or this situation where she'll probably try to get a legal team to sue people for defamation
her
of character,
picture.
for using her picture. Although, believe me,
Hilarious.
because her picture has been everywhere, or
Yes.
she's going to become a superstar.
I was about to say, if she knows-
from all of these memes.
It's like that guy the African guy who's always on the cell phone. Right now.
I do remember
But
that.
what about
He's
that?
made
I've
he's
seen it
resurfaced.
before.
The young guy that was like, hide your kids, hide your wives,
Hide
and
your
then he
wives,
was like
they
all over the
raping
place.
people
Yeah.
around here.
Yeah.
And the question becomes,
Well, the girl that was like,
Oh yeah.
the question becomes, where are they now, right? Where are they now? But before you answer that question, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take another commercial break, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
Good job.
Oh,
I'm
thank you.
starting to feel like you're a host this season. at least the host of the time.
I had a whole hiatus.
Right.
Thanks for keeping your mouth shut.
Thanks for minding your own business.
Come on, show me the good ones.
Thanks for not telling my girlfriend.
Say that to me.
Hi.
Thanks for not telling anyone.
When you do nothing, you're helping him. But when you do something, you help her.
Thanks for telling the bartender.
Thanks for stopping him.
Thanks for telling HR.
Thanks for getting help.
Who will you help? Stop sexual harassment and violence when you see it.
Because I love you. I want to be your only guy.
Because I love you, skip class with me. Let's stay in bed today.
Because I love you, I just want to be with you so freaking much.
Because I love you.
I waited for you after Chem Lab.
You were walking with Mark?
Because I love you.
You shouldn't be hanging out with that dude.
You should know how dumb that makes me look.
I don't care if she's your lab partner.
Why do you have texts from him?
Because I love you. This number,
delete.
Because I love you. This Jason number,
delete.
And Ben,
delete.
Because I love you, I should smash your phone.
I'll let you give me your password instead.
Because I love you.
I will check your texts every day.
You got lucky. Because I love you.
Because I love you.
You think it's okay.
Because I love you. You understand.
because I love you, you stop talking to your classmates. And you feel completely alone.
Because I love you. That's not love.
I was 2 seconds from being in his shot line.
Okay, see?
Okay.
See? I didn't.
Go fix your tie.
Actors Emma Watson and Chris Pratt both said in separate interviews that they no longer take selfies with their fans, each for different reasons. Watson, who starred in the Harry Potter, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, Harry Potter films and Beauty of the Beast, says that because fans usually post the photos right away, and she feels that it's a security issue. Now, on the other hand, Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy says that he would prefer to be more in the moment with the fans. Do you feel that it's unfair to fans that these actors are refusing to take their selfies with them?
I will tell you this. I do a lot of things with fans that I don't really want to do. I don't always want to stand there and take a selfie. I don't always want to smile in a picture. I don't, you know what I mean? And it's I heard someone else say that they didn't want to take it because when you take selfies, come here. So when you take selfies, you're like this, and your heads are touching. It's like the germs, and you can get lice and all this other stuff. I think it was Kelly Ripa that was saying that. It is this thing where it's like you want to be in the moment, but people want something. That it's not just, people want something to take with them, you know. They want to feel, they want to touch. It's not just about hearing or seeing in that moment. It's the same thing with being at a concert and people have their phones up and they're looking at the show through the camera instead of just living in that moment. We would love for you to live in that moment, and we would love to not have everyone pull and push, and I probably take over 1,000 selfies every weekend, you know, at every show. It's just, it's crazy. But
it comes with the territory.
It does.
There's a lot of things on my job that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
But it's my job. I signed up for that job. Right. It's the job that I decided I wanted to do it. Right. And on the day that I wake up and I say, I don't want to do these aspects of my job, I get a new job.
Yeah.
I get a new job.
It's true.
That's it.
But we're talking about a selfie. That can lead to a lot of different things. I mean, in this day and age, you know, celebrities are, now, autographs and things like that, but selfies, that can be taken to a whole new level. Social media just like that is all over the world, and assumptions and so forth. So I do understand. There's one celebrity that I know, actually I'll say his name, Steve Harvey. It's certain things that I'm learning a lot from him. Like when
you talked about that recently, right?
Because lawsuits come all the time. You know, if you take a selfie with somebody and all of a sudden it's a sexual harassment or whatever. So he kind of tell me some of the things he does by keeping his hand wide open or certain things like that you have to do. But there should be a point in time for everything, and fans have to understand that entertainers are people. They have their own lives. You're not at work 24 hours, 7 days a week. No one is that, you know. And you have to allow them to have their free space and free time and, you know, do these things when you feel like you're ready to do them, not just because someone wants it. I mean, you can be nice to a fan without, you can say no in a nice way without really offending somebody.
Right.
You know, just through short explanation of why you won't do this, or maybe you do it next time or something else, or maybe you can do this instead of that. You know, maybe I'll give you an autograph as opposed to this, you know. But I think as an entertainer, you should have the right to do what you want to do when you want to do it. Just give a common courtesy or an explanation as to why you may not, so it doesn't come across like you're being harsh.
I will tell you this: when I'm working, it's a different situation where if I'm working, it's like after my show and someone asks for a selfie, but then I go to Target and someone says, "Oh my God," and wants to take a picture with me, and while I'm trying to buy like stuff that I really don't want to know about, like that's a little kind of like where's the line there? But then when being yourself is your job, you don't really get a day off. So what do I say to that? You know, because it just takes one person to write this long thing about how mean you were to them on, you know, social media, just like that, or that you get a reputation for being a bitch or being, you know, a diva or whatever. I just take the picture, I click, and that's it. I'm not going to stand there all day and take it, but
yeah, the day that you're not in the mood for that, stay in the house.
Yeah,
when you're a celebrity and you're famous, the day, like when people say, "Oh, I just wanted time out with my family at this restaurant," you can't have that.
And that's what I was going to chime in and say the same thing. When you are living a certain life, you know when you step outside of your door, that little mat, that cameras are going to be there. So you have to prepare yourself for it. And like you said, with anything else, there are plenty of things you don't want to do when you go to your regular job. You prepare yourself. Like there are days I know, okay, this meeting is coming up. I really don't feel like that meeting. Get it in my mind that I got to be there and to be fine with and be okay with it. So you know, even when you do, unfortunately, you go to Target, you go to Chick-fil-A, people are going to recognize you. So if you don't wear your big glasses and your hoodie, you know, people are going to want to take pictures, and you just have to be okay with it because that comes with the territory. And just like you said, you have to be careful because it can ruin your career by taking that picture. Not taking the picture can do the same thing.
Absolutely. I have this ex-boyfriend at the time when we were together. He look at me like that. You know him. Anyway, he had this rule. He's like, I will let you stand there and take as many pictures as you want. I will never hold the camera. So people would do this. They would automatically just come up and
Can you take this picture?
Hand the phone to him like he was, and he would just, and I said, he's not going to take the picture, but you're going to have to either take a selfie or you have someone take it. He's like, I'm not your assistant, you know, whatever. But people used to just come up while we're in the middle of eating, and they come and sit in the booth right beside, oh my God, I love you so much, oh my God. And then apologize. I'm like, I'm so sorry. And they would walk away. He's like, I think that's rude as hell. And I was like, but I can't be mean. Because as soon as I'm mean, then it's going to, you know, there you go.
And we as people have to be cognizant of just that fact. Like you said, I was in Atlanta for a hair show one time. And we happened to go to Houston's, and we saw T.I.'s daughter in there. And so everyone was like, oh my God, that's her, that's her, that's her. You know, and so people wanted to go up to the table, but it's like, at what point do you draw the line? Okay, so in that case, like you were saying earlier, I would say, you know what, I'm actually having dinner with my girlfriend here. Afterwards, how about I come over to your table and we'll take a picture? But you have to have that line somewhere, but also being cognizant that people know. And that, so you have to kind of control the moment, I think.
Yeah, you get that private room in the back. You shut down the restaurant. Like you got money. There are things that you, I mean, I don't.
If you that one.
Well, and
if people come to your table, you are.
I've only seen this happen in person twice. Once when Oprah Winfrey, she was at the African American History Museum, and the one before this last one about the woman and the cells and the cancer cells in Baltimore. When people wanted to take selfies with her, she had a bodyguard that looked at you and said, "No,
that's right.
No."
That way, she doesn't have to be mean.
She doesn't have to be mean. Beyonce has done that. So to these people who are trying to make news about not wanting to take selfies with people, get a life. You can fix that. That is not, we're talking about it because you're trying to make news out of something that's not really news.
Right.
Because if your pocketbook says, you got it like that.
You got it like that.
You got it like that. First of all, you're a celebrity, so you got it. But if you are a celebrity and you don't want to get a bodyguard or somebody look at someone and says, no.
So do you think Emma's, her point, do you think her point is at all valid? Emma said, you know.
I think yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because you can't say anything about somebody's safety. I think it was a fake me out. I don't think that's her reason.
Okay.
That's what she said.
Okay.
She just want to stand there.
Because I said, you know, I can understand that, but I would still take the picture.
That was clever.
And I would say, you know what, can you give me like 10 minutes before you, because I don't want, you know, it to be a big scene that I'm here, because you know.
How about Kim Kardashian? She's out of some jewels. Because she took some pictures that say she was at a hotel with a whole bunch of diamonds.
But they already
Now,
have.
I know that could have been a setup or whatever you want to talk about. But the story was she took a selfie to say, I'm in this city. I'm in this hotel, and I'm dripping with diamonds. The next thing you know, you got men busting through her door, taking her diamonds.
So to Emma's point, so look at this. So let's imagine she doesn't take the selfies. I see you, and I take a picture, and I post, Emma is here at DCTV, and yada. It's the same thing. So whether you take the picture or not,
because everyone is walking around with a computer and phone.
And that's why
identified,
I
being noticed.
That the best thing is, like with many things, you have to control the situation. You have to. And so, if I were Emma, I would then say, you know what, I'm gonna take this picture, but can you give me a second because I'm concerned about X, Y, Z. You know, and hopefully that if that person is a true fan, you know, they might give her that level of respect. Same thing, like I said, with T.I.'s daughter. I'm at dinner right now. I'm trying to have a, you know, an enjoyable moment with my friend here. I'll come over to your table. Just give me, you know, that. So give me a little room. I'll give you what you want, but give me a little space.
But see, I commend Oprah because thinking back to before social media, it was just a picture or an autograph.
Right.
Now it's so much bigger, so you have to plan. I mean, now that you think of it, you have to plan. You have to plan accordingly. You know, you have bigger fans, easier ways to reach you, easier ways to give out. Like you said, to say what hotel you at or what studio you at. So yeah, I guess I do understand now. More important to have your privacy, you know, than before if it's your career that's involved.
Well, I'm going to reel in on a personal note. I know that I'm a selfie king. I love to take my selfies. Y'all know who know me. I love to take my selfies. However, I have had to learn that when I'm with certain people who don't want to have selfies, I can't do that. I've got a little in my feelings about it a little bit, but I've had to look beyond that because it's not always about me.
So you can take the picture, but you can't post it.
I can take the picture, but I can't post it. Save it for a rainy day. Save it for, you know, or I will ask. And Raleigh said something a couple of season shows ago, where Raleigh said she didn't take pictures of herself sometimes, or when she's at a certain place.
Right.
Or post it
Or
later.
she will post it later.
Right.
And I remember you saying that on the set, and I thought that was just a wonderful thing, because I can only imagine
a real-time photo,
yeah,
or
when
real-time
people,
video.
you know,
Like, for instance, before we were taping here, I was on live. I didn't tell anybody, because someone said, what studio are you at? Where are you at? Nope.
Right.
Yeah.
Not happening. I mean, we got,
Because you're not in the mood,
secure,
because you
but
don't want to
Right.
see people. Like, when you want, if you don't mind people popping up on you,
Yeah.
Right.
then you post it and you let it be known. But if you're not in the mood, or you don't want to do it, it's like, don't invite it.
Recently, on my Facebook page, someone posted a question to me about my opinion of women who breastfed in public places. One person replied to the text, I understand a child needs to be fed, but in a recent case of a woman breastfeeding in church, that was, if my pastor is delivering a word and I look over and see a mother with twins breastfeeding, I'm going to forget all about the word and look at her like, oh, come on now. What is your opinion about women breastfeeding in public?
Well, for the two women, the two people on here that have breast,
right.
Yeah.
let me just tell you.
Yeah, well, my
Shaina,
producer asked that question.
Okay, so maybe the baby's crying, they need to eat, and they, but she wants to take in the word, also she wants to, whatever. And usually people put like a cloth over them.
Absolutely.
But Shaina, back me up if you agree with me. I don't know what you guys have done, what men have done to make breasts sexual. Breasts are not sexual. They're really not. It's not a sex organ. They were made to feed babies. And so for like, oh my God, her nipple's showing, her breasts are out now. I'm not walking around with my breast out. But there are countries where women walk around like that, and it's okay that they walk around like that, because breasts are not sexual. Breasts are sexual. I blame men for this, because you have made it sexual. They are not. They're not sexual organs. You don't reproduce with them. It's just because you like to suck on them.
So we were taught that. We're taught that.
Okay. Well, Riley, you put a whole nother spin on it.
Right.
You made me sit up in my chair.
So I'm going to be honest. Okay. When you say pastor and twins, I'm just thinking like,
one on each side.
Yeah, man, it's like the whole thing pastor should be focused on the word. So let's take him out of it completely.
I didn't think he said twins.
Well, but this wasn't. But this wasn't the pastor who was doing it. This was someone who was in the congregation who looks over and sees it.
So
it's not a sexual act. They should be focusing on the word.
How do I know you're breastfeeding? I shouldn't know.
You should know.
Like Riley said,
Yeah.
there's that great cloth. I don't know if your baby is getting burped under there. I shouldn't know if your baby is asleep and you're covering to keep the draft off its head. Like, I don't know. I shouldn't know unless, like, if I hear it, then maybe.
What if she had to, like, maneuver her garments in order to...
Draped. It just stays draped. Like, that's the crazy part. I shouldn't
I mean,
know.
if she's in church, she may have on a dress or
so you're
suit,
saying the whip
and
out.
so she has to, like,
the whip out.
And so you're looking like, okay, well, what's going on
I think
over
if
there?
you're breastfeeding, you dress accordingly. Don't you think?
You hope.
You're not going to wear something that you can't get out of
But then my question
easily,
would be,
or that
what
looks crazy.
What would you wear to church that you could kind of
And
maneuver
there's a
out
time
of?
frame for this breastfeeding thing.
If I see you unbuttoning, I'm gonna be like, now what is going on?
But I mean, so I've never breastfed. Okay. I've seen it happen in public. Like, I've been in the mall and I'm like, why am I watching you do this? Your baby should be on some type of a timer, I think, right? So, and when you go out in public, have a bottle or something. It just doesn't make sense that
it's fine for me.
Eat.
I think it's fine to do it. It's
random.
just you still
you have to cover it up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just because men have
we
made
shouldn't
breast
even know
sexual
that it's happening.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, and I really appreciate your feedback on it. I'm glad that we have females on this panel because
and in protest, let's just
because I think because I think if anything, if we say anything, gentlemen, it may not go over as well as I think the producer would want it to go over. But thank you, both of you have like really enlightened me, especially you, Riley.
I don't even want to see people changing their kids in public.
I
don't take care of your kid on your time. They have bathrooms.
They
want
to hear the word. Ladies and gentlemen, before we leave tonight, we would also like to pay special thanks to our very loyal crew members for holding us down and keeping the faith that someday we would be together again, which we are. That includes Elaine Sugar Alston, Dawn Dickerson, Janice Rogers, a.k.a. Peaches, Dolores Harris, Wynetta Jackson, Rhonda A. Starks, Crystal Branton, Michael Broadnax, no relations to our Rashard Broadnax, and the
That we
newest
know
member of our circus, Mr. Thaddeus Johnson. Welcome, Thaddeus. Our producer, Tony Wesley, wants you all to know how much you are appreciated. As always, we thank you for watching and ask you again to join us. We next. What does that say? What does that say? What does that say?
Yep.
What does that say?
Gotcha.
When next we speak. That says when we next we speak.
That's a setup.
You can't blame us. Oh, you should know by now.
But that's no setup.
That's a setup. He thinks you should know it.
Everybody just wait, okay?
I'll get it right.